I'd like to call the meeting to order, 7:01, Tuesday, March 5th, 2024. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Hello.
Let's see. Do we have any public comment?
There's no one on from the public. I will say that Sam Kilpatrick is online on the phone and he should be able to talk, just so
Okay.
he knows.
Hello, everyone.
There we go.
Hello, Sam.
All right.
Okay.
We have no presentations this evening, so next is minutes.
Did anybody have any changes to the minutes from
No,
February 6th?
No,
Okay. Can somebody make a motion to approve the minutes?
I make a motion to approve them.
Second? Okay, all in favor? Aye.
hi.
aye.
Thank you. Is anyone opposed? Okay, the minutes pass. Thank you. Okay, see, so we're going down to public education goal, the spring newsletter. Do we have anybody to report on that?
I think Bree is working on the newsletter for the spring newsletter for cleanup day. I know she had sent me an email. I didn't get back to her.
And the email contains the text for what I thought could go in the newsletter. You need to tell me whether that's appropriate. Basically, it's
Oh, okay. I missed that, Bria. I'm sorry. Yeah, let me take a look. And then I'll submit that to the town manager's office. I know we usually wait until the sign up genius is all set, so that way we can do a QR code and that can get published in the newsletter. Stacy is out tonight. She wasn't able to make the meeting. So I'll provide a little info from her when we get down to the townwide cleanup. But I'll take a look at that and then we'll review.
I ran it by John just to make sure that the
Okay.
Lions Club info was appropriate.
Here, can I get
And I passed it by the Lions Club.
Oh, great. Thank you.
Hold on. There we go. So I will take a look at that. Is there anything else for the spring newsletter? I think we talked about something last meeting. I just don't remember exactly.
Do people sign up for that online?
For the cleanup?
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. So we use a website called Sign Up Genius.
Okay.
It's as far as I'm aware, it's a free website. I think there's like ads on it that help pay for it. So we usually have a QR code that you can scan with your phone. It pulls up the website. It'll have slots available for each of the 4 collection sites. And then we also have I don't think we have a QR code for it, but we do have a link that we pass around for volunteers to man the 4 collection stations, which is 2 2-hour shifts each, or I guess 2.5-hour shifts. So that goes out to us. It'll go out to some other members of the public as well. But that'll come around the same time as the sign up is ready for the cleanup day.
Well, when I was reading this, that was the only thing I thought it was missing, was some way,
Yeah.
the link or the QR code.
Yes. Yeah. So it'll be posted on the website when the flyer's done as well.
Okay.
Okay, if I could just jump in for a moment. While there is a sign up, just like Jared said, it's pretty meaningless in the sense of if you sign up for a particular street, that doesn't prevent anybody else from picking up that street. And people who don't go out to that site may not even know that anybody else has signed up for a street. So it's like I said, kind of meaningless for the people to sign up in the sense of it might give them a feeling like it's their street,
Well,
but in fact it isn't.
actually, John, I'm just gonna like insert a little something here. So what we have done historically for the cleanup is, yes, we do take kind of pre-assignments. And then on the sheet that the volunteers have at their actual sites, it shows what spots have been taken. And so when someone comes to the table and says, oh, well, where should I go? Because they are going to ask you that. The volunteers that are sitting there are supposed to be looking at that and saying, well, these are already taken, so please go here. And then they also have a map, which was created for each space that you can refer to if you need to, that has dirty spots marked on it. So as long as that system is still being used, that's the process, so that, you know, we aren't sending someone to some area that's been cleaned, because there's no bigger bummer than to, you know, you're going out, you want to get a pretty decent haul, and particularly if you're competing in the heaviest haul competition, you want it to be significant. So that system is in place. It's whether or not it's actually being used. That's the question.
Well,
So that is right, in the sense of when people show up at as a booth, they're gonna ask what's been signed up for and what's not. And to that extent, it's going to steer people away from those streets.
Mhm.
But even before that, the sheet, somebody may have already picked up that street. And so
Well-
you're sending people out to a clean street.
Yeah, and that is something that's very hard to determine unless
Right.
whoever is putting that sign up sheet together goes out, you know, a day before and makes sure that it's not cleaned up, which that is not going to happen. I'll
It's
guarantee.
not gonna happen. No, you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it gives people a good idea of the sort of streets that are available.
Yep.
But as I said, the streets may have been not signed up for, but picked up anyways.
well, it does help us get an idea of who's volunteering and where we can expect people if we've only got and how many and it helps the groups get a reminder of where the locations are and that the event is happening. So there's the benefit for the volunteer side as well.
Yep.
All right.
So can I just add something? A couple of people have noted to me that in other communities, I've been to one garbage dump where this happens. People bring in sort of their gently used items and leave them because they don't want to put them in the trash. They still work, but they don't need them any longer. And people can swap back and forth. And I don't know that we want to saddle our volunteers with this year, but it's just something to think about for future years.
So I know 2 years ago, Stacy did kind of like a townwide tag sale at, I think it was at IAR. And there was some turnout, but it proved to be, it was more logistics and planning on our end than was kind of the benefit. There was also concern that people would leave the stuff that they didn't sell at IAR when they left. Usually cleanup day coincides pretty closely with bulk waste pickup and household hazardous waste. So it's kind of like an all in April, you know, pick up what's by the road, what you don't want, we'll take away if you leave it by the road. And if you've got oils and solvents and things like that, bring that to town hall and your documents too. We also have shredding event that same day as well as cleanup day. So it's kind of like a comprehensive thing.
Well, I suppose when you leave something out the side of the road, you could say this works.
I see it when I drive through town. People are pulling
Yeah.
over and grabbing the stuff from bulk waste. So I think it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I hardly ever end up having to use the truck. So, okay, great. Thank you.
I didn't mean to jump into the townwide cleanup section. I thought that thing we were looking at was part of the spring newsletter. Is that?
Yes, yeah, it's about the cleanup. We've got cleanup day at the end, so we'll go into depth with everything else then.
Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to
No.
confuse.
Don't, no need to apologize.
So where's
Um,
in the spring newsletter that we do talk about?
all right, guess we'll just do the cleanup day this year or this spring.
Are you, is there room for more than that?
It would depend. I know we have our department, planning and engineering, has a few things that we need to get out. There's updated FEMA maps that we need to notify the public about. There's some stormwater education requirements, but I'm sure if it's you know, a paragraph, there's probably room for it. If
Well,
you
I'm
had something in mind.
Yeah, I was just wondering whether we should put something in there about either the composting project that's starting up at Westwoods or the anti-idling project. Let's just a paragraph that it's happened, because
I think we did the anti-idling in winter or fall. I don't remember.
well, I know
Um,
we thought we were gonna do it, but I don't know if it happened. I can't hear
I
it.
submitted something.
You did, okay.
Yes, yeah. That's why I'm saying it so confidently. So if we wanted to do one with the compost program starting up at Westwoods, as
Okay.
long as it's clear that it's at lunchtime and that people aren't going to start showing up to Westwoods with
With their compost.
exactly. That's just the only thing that we get, you know.
No,
Westwoods program starting or composting program starting at Westwoods might.
Right.
I see. Yes, I've got you on that one. Okay.
But it's not, I mean, it's not a huge deal. I think most people would understand, but you never know.
I mean, I just think it's kind of like a teaser to what I think we as a Green Everest Committee should be working on again, and that is trying to pursue a townwide compost program.
Yes.
I noticed that we
And
have a new business thing on here, but that I think that should be, we should talk about that.
yes, let's get into waste reduction first. There's something that I can update with the composting at least, not for the town, but information for everyone.
Okay. All right, so for the waste reduction goal.
So I will send out, when I send out the minutes tomorrow or Thursday, I'll send out the link to the littering signs in Adopt a Road. And then let's say not for April, because we'll be talking about cleanup day in April, that May, we get some input regarding that and decide if the committee wants to move forward with that.
With the Adopt a Road, sorry.
Yeah, so
Okay.
I had done some research and pulled information from other towns, their ordinances and such. And it's just what I quickly found, within a few hours of searching it. And I usually kind of look at towns in the area, just similar towns, similar programs, things like that. But if someone finds something from a different town, in the Northwest Hills or something like that, we're not gonna shy away from it. It's information's information at this point. So
To Kate's point, I just wanted to interject that I said at the last meeting, I would do some research on composting in the pilot program in West Hartford. And I have done that. I'm still waiting to get in touch with the woman in West Hartford who has been in charge of this effort. So at the next meeting, I can make a report on that.
all right, that's fine.
All right,
Garrett, do you have something to share about this adoption? Something?
I did some research. It's in a SharePoint folder that I'll just send out with the minutes. That's about it. The only thing I was going to add was something that came up in between sending out the agenda and this meeting, was that there's a proposed bill in the Senate right now, the state Senate. It's Senate Bill number 191. The public hearing, I think, closes on the 8th, or they're having a public hearing on the 8th. And it's an act concerning food scrap diversion from solid waste stream and the redemption of out-of-state beverage containers. A lot of state bills end up being two seemingly disconnected things. But the bill as proposed, if I can jump down to the right section, on or before January 1st, 2028, the Commissioner of Energy and Environmental Protection shall require each municipality to establish a program requiring residents to separate food scraps and food processing residue from other solid waste. So it looks like at least someone at the state is pushing to have a requirement through DEP that all towns adopt a composting program. So that it's just more of like I think I set up the agenda Wednesday afternoon or Thursday morning, and then I went to a webinar with DEP where they mentioned this bill, just to bring it to our attention. So I added it to my bill tracking with a bunch of other things for this session to keep an eye on. I mean, there's public hearing. There's a lot of support right now for at least in the public hearing testimony section. I mean, it's if you just search Senate Bill 191 Connecticut, it's pretty easy to show up. Let's do it right now.
Yeah, we could all be
191.
submitting
CC.
supporting
Right.
letters.
Definitely.
So if you just click it, this is what it looks like. There's the bill text.
Okay.
There's public hearing testimony.
Mhm.
And then if you make an account, you can add it to a list of tracked bills, and you can sign up for email updates as well. They'll send you a notice when something's changed.
And I would assume there's going to be some kind of grant making that goes along with this. I mean, that's what they do.
I don't know.
We can always hope, right?
Yeah, it's up to DEP. It's up to DEP. This only establishes the mandate.
Right.
There's also the possibility that it gets approved, and then 2 years later it gets pushed down the road 2 more years or something like that. We see that happen with some things that sometimes gives more time or something like that.
Yeah.
Well, it certainly
So-
doesn't mean that we have to wait.
No.
No, it's more of it. It's going to be something will be happening in the next few years. Is
Mhm.
kind of it's whether it's just Farmington, whether it's Farmington Valley, whether it's the whole state, something will be happening. Is kind of what it is. So we're going to keep an eye on it, and we're also going to explore. Obviously, if it's a requirement from the state, we have to plan out how that's going to function in Farmington as well. So it's more just to let everyone know that this is out there in case anyone was curious and wants to keep an eye on it.
Hey, Garrett, do you mind sharing that with the whole group so that we
Sure.
can actually submit, comment to the public's space? Because I think that as the Green Efforts Committee, this is something
Yep.
that we should all be.
Emailing
Mhm.
Dr. Road.
Okay.
And Senate Bill 191. Yep, that's no problem.
Thank you.
I'll add it to the to the minutes email.
Thank you.
All right. And
Okay.
then
Okay.
I took composting off Kate and Sam just because I know it's supposedly started this month.
Yeah, they haven't gotten the bins yet, right, Sam? I don't know if that's the last I heard from the principal.
As far as I know, they have all the bins and everything they need to start in the cafeteria. Tara was contacting Blue Earth. We do need a contract in place for having them pick up the compost. It might just be that she's waiting based on her schedule to implement it. I haven't. I can reach out and have an update for the next meeting.
I think she's in New Orleans right now at a conference, so you won't get her this week.
Well, that would be bad timing for starting the program then, so that might explain it.
Yeah.
All right, anything else on that topic? Okay, back to the townwide cleanup.
All right.
So-
So Stacy said she's working on the Sign Up Genius and the poster. I just asked for if there's anything she wanted to update the committee on. I have reached out to the firehouses. Those were all set. I have gotten the building use form from the Board of Education for the use of the IAR parking lot, and I've submitted our public event permit to the town manager's office. Just waiting on a couple last sign-offs. It does look like recreation will be starting soccer that day as well, but we've worked around that in the past with Tungus Mead
Mm.
being at the pavilion, which is a little farther away from the ball fields. Temporary sign permit has also been filed. The only thing is I'll just need an appropriation for up to $100 to buy the date stickers. For 100 4x5 stickers, let's say 20, it's 65, 68. So just $100 in case there's an extra shipping cost or something like that. So that way we can get the stickers ordered and then put on the signs and get the signs out for cleanup day.
Okay.
Anyone have anything else for?
I don't, yeah, I have a question.
Yeah.
I don't see anything on there as far as prizes, but we did talk about that briefly last time.
Yes. I don't know if Jennifer wants to.
Yeah, I was just coming off mute to announce, and y'all beat me to the punch. Yeah, that's on my list. I was waiting on some information to be able to speak with some degree of intelligence when I'm actually calling people. So I have that now, so I'm gonna be making calls over the next 2 weeks.
Okay, can I just add something to that? I have taken it upon myself to get a few things too. I do have 3 gift certificates for us. I have one from J. Timothy's for $100.
Oh, wow.
I have 2 separate Walmart gift certificates for $100 each.
Oh, wow.
And my husband and I at Farmington Jewelers are going to be giving you something to give as a prize as well.
Thank you.
Great. Thank
But
you,
I-
Amy.
Oh, no problem. I can hold on to those until I'm really not familiar with the process of the townwide cleanup, where I have to go, what I have to do. If there's something else you need my help with, I'm more than happy to, work with you guys to see if there's anything you want me to participate in. So feel free to call me or email me.
I think Stacy will be sending out a volunteer sign up. So for people to sit at the different spaces for particular times. So
Okay.
that'll be something for everyone on the committee to be part of.
Okay.
Amy, have you mentioned anything at the town council meetings yet? I know Green Efforts moved to like a quarterly report.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I did not. I did not.
No, that's
It
fine.
didn't come up yet, but I think, I'm not sure if it's gonna come up while we're doing our budget meetings or if they're gonna just wait till after those are done for me to report on that.
Yeah, I think because I had to look at some meetings, so I think the second town council meeting for March got canceled. So I think the first meeting in April is fine. If you wouldn't mind just mentioning the townwide cleanup day at that meeting, that we're looking for volunteers.
Okay, they put it in their agenda when I'm supposed to speak on that, so,
All right.
but I will make a note to talk about looking for volunteers for that.
And I
Absolutely.
know, I don't know if it was Johnny last year, but it might have been Johnny reached out to the RTC for volunteers. I know John, I think normally reaches out to the DTC, just to let them know. I know I was at IAR last year and Joe and CJ were there volunteering. So
Okay,
Just,
I can, to any of the, I can mention that to any of the meetings that I go to.
all right, perfect. Thank you.
Okay. So does somebody keep a list of all the prize or the gifts to?
Yes, yeah,
be-
Jennifer and Stacy will, and then we'll keep a list somewhere else as well.
Okay,
I was trying to keep up with what you were saying earlier, Amy. You said there's 2 Walmart gift cards for $100 each.
yes, I have 2 separate gift cards, $100 each. And one from J. Timothy's for $100.
Great.
And then we'll be giving a jewelry item, I think,
Okay.
or a gift certificate. I'm not sure which yet.
Great. Thank you so much for doing that.
Oh, you're welcome.
All right.
No. Okay.
Anything else, Jennifer?
Nope, not at this point.
Okay, then could I ask for a motion to appropriate up to $100 for supplies for the cleanup day?
So moved.
Second,
Second?
second,
Okay. All in favor?
aye,
Okay, opposed? Okay, motion.
All right, thank
Gary?
you. Yes, John.
so, one thing I wanted to mention about the supplies.
Mhm.
Obviously, we usually have bags at all the stations and we hand them out. And usually there's some bags from last year that we use again. Are we going to be purchasing new bags?
No, we don't need any more bags. I with confidence. So we've got it's either 5 or 6 tubs total. There's one with all the supplies for each site, and then there's 2 tubs just filled with bags. And that, yeah, it's just bags, I think. It's 1 or 2 of them. They weigh like 80 pounds, I want to say. So, I mean, well, I'll have to crack open the tubs and, and review the supplies and throw some bags in there, just to restock some of them, but we have plenty of bags.
A lot of
Are
bags.
there any clear bags?
I believe so. Let me check. Worst cases, we can just do another appropriation in April. I'll get down to the garage either this week or next week and take a look for
So
clear
the
bags.
Lions Club would prefer people to pick up things in clear bags so they can see if there's any cans mixed in with the trash. And obviously what they would prefer would be people to keep their cans separate from other trash. But just in case it gets mixed up, they do like to have the clear bags so they can see that.
Yeah, and I know we've got some smaller bags, like I don't want to say bathroom trash can size, but a little smaller, which might be better. I think they're clear or they're like a light plastic. Those might be a little better because I don't think people are usually filling up, the big 13-gallon bags with cans. So just having the
Yeah.
small one so that people can carry it, and they've got the big trash bag, the little bag for cans. They can throw the cans in there, and when they get back to the site, we can drop off the cans into maybe just have 1 or 2 clear bags there, like the big ones, and just fill them up.
I could change the newsletter information to say, please put your cans in separate bags, or
I don't.
that's appropriate.
I don't think it's super. We tell people when they show up to collect the grabbers and the bags before they head out. But I mean, we can add it in. It's not a big deal. We usually tell them that when they're there to get started.
But we've given people a month to pick up,
Right.
So it never hurts to inform people.
No. The other thing is keep a running list in your head or send it over to me of areas you notice in town that are dirty for our dirty list, so we can get that started. I know Stacy usually has one going. So just for everyone, if you see some areas of town that you raise some flags for you for being extra dirty or something like that, it doesn't hurt to just write those down, so that way we can send people to those targeted areas. It usually
So I'm
depends
not
on the
sure-
location.
I'm not sure I want to share my places.
Just give them to us the night before.
A little competitive, John?
And John,
Yeah, the night before, I'll let you know the ones I haven't got.
Yeah, there you go.
Hey, can I toss something out here, because I don't think it's ever really happened. And I ran this cleanup for 20 years almost, or maybe more, I don't even know. But the Board of Ed, we talk about the town council, you know, talking to the town council, but the Board of Ed, it would be fabulous if they could get involved, because getting into the schools and getting schools involved and the students involved is always a challenge. And if the Board of Ed could, you know, somehow become involved where it gets pitched in the schools in a way that, you know, either classrooms are competing against each other, or at the very least, you know, families are coming out, that will bring in a large group of people, because right now it's always around 200 people that show up. It's usually the same people that show up. And over the years, we've had fewer and fewer school groups coming out. So if the Board of Ed if this could be pitched to them as well, and get, you know, Board of Ed people involved at a volunteer level, I think that would be really beneficial.
You know, you could include Ms. Porters in that also.
Yeah, and they always come every year.
Yeah,
They
They're
bring out a
great.
poster, I mean, they always win the heaviest haul competition as the school.
I'll bring it up at the next Board of Ed meeting, which is on March 18th.
That would be great, because you know what? I mean, the private school is beating the Farmington High School, so there's the competition. right
Can't
there.
let that happen.
No.
and I think
Just to add to that, when the high school groups do show up, whether it be a particular team or a particular group within the high school, they really get involved.
Yeah,
And they've done some tremendous work, especially cleaning up the high school area.
I agree. So we just have to get, you know, it's getting inside, and all, you know, every year that seems to change. And if there's a teacher that might be interested, then it sort of happens, or a coach. But it would be nice to have it be not so difficult, you know, to really engage everyone.
all right, well, thank you, Marty, for that.
No problem.
Okay, is there anything else to discuss, or?
I just had one question. I was reading through some past minutes and I saw that there had been an effort to put electric car charges in, or some talk about that. And I just wondered if that went anywhere, or.
so yeah, so back when that was on the agenda, we were looking at, there's a program through Eversource that up to $20,000, it covers the make ready costs and 50% of the charger. The only spot it really worked that had availability to install was by the Staples House in front of the library, and ultimately would have required a new electrical service, and the cost ended up being with the grant, it was like $50,000 or something, so it still would have been $30,000 out of the committee's budget to install it. It is being looked at for other town projects right now, ways to utilize that grant, whether it's just installing conduit for future capacity, or installing it as part of larger projects. It just ended up being for that one spot, and the location being at the far end of the parking lot away from the library entrance. It just ended up being it didn't outweigh the cost for just one charger. We did look at it. I looked at it for a year, multiple contractors, understanding the program and everything like that. So we did look at it for an effort by the Green Efforts Committee. We step back from it. But it's something the town is looking at, based on that information that we gained while researching it for the committee.
So I just drove halfway across the country in an electric car, and all of the chargers that we went to were in grocery store parking lots, or mall parking lots, or, places where there was available parking, and these were tucked way off in a corner. I mean, sometimes you have to use your GPS to find them, but, so I just wondered if Stop and Shop and Highland Park might be two places for them.
I think Stop and Shop did reach out to our department at one point just to ask about it. I don't know if they went forward with that. I know a lot of businesses are looking to use that grant program. And it's 3-year funding cycles. And I know that Eversource had to put more money into the first funding cycle already, because it all got taken up. I will say there was a change in the, I believe it's a state building code, that all new construction, commercial construction, has to provide infrastructure for electric vehicle charging. It doesn't have to install chargers now, but they have to put in they just basically, it's the actual interpretation, or the actual wording is up for interpretation. At the bare minimum, it's been interpreted that you just got to run conduit from the electrical panel to the parking lot, for future installation of a charger.
Does the high school project have a charger on the plan? The new high school?
So we have exactly what Garrett just said. So we have conduit actually in 2 locations, one near the high school, and then infrastructure, meaning conduit and the breaker, for 4 stations, 8 charging stations, but 4 units, near the central office once that project is done. We chose that location because it was kind of more central to the high school, central office, and the future 1928 building as well. So, again, not the units themselves, but we talked about that as an option as well, earlier, to utilize that grant to actually install the units.
So there is a move afoot to actually apply for the grant to install the units?
Well, Garrett and Johnny and I had talked about potentially using the Eversource dollars, right, Garrett?
Yes, yeah.
At some point, to be able to install the actual units at the high school. The project costs have included all the conduit and the breakers and all of that for the locations.
Oh, that's great.
So
Okay.
that brings
Right.
down the make-ready cost substantially.
Right.
At that point, you just have to run the wire, and install the charger, so that increases the benefit we can get from the grant, while decreasing I'll say the cost. I mean, obviously the conduit still needs to get installed, but it's better to do it this summer before they pave the parking lot. But I believe it's also related to the finishing of the 900 building for Board of Ed. It's part of that work. Not necessarily for the high school.
That site work would be happening not this summer, but it would be happening throughout the year following.
That's
Amy?
great. Just as an FYI, there's a charging station that suddenly a sign cropped up at Farmington Motorsports. So for anyone, that's interested, there is a charging station there. They have a sign on the road there.
Great.
And it's there.
One in town.
Good to know.
Amy?
Yeah.
In the plan for the 1928 building, is part of the plan to install electrical charging stations near that building as well?
Hmm.
I just heard that there were, right?
No, so not for the 1928 building. It will be in the shared parking, but hold on, give me 1 second.
Okay, so you said it was near it, but not,
Yeah, so give me 1 second. I can pull up,
Okay.
it should be under pending applications. And
And the other question I have, just off the electric charging station is there going to be any solar on the new high school?
There is not solar within the project now.
Why?
Well, early on cost, value engineered out.
Wow.
Hmm.
That is shocking, honestly. And a travesty, I have to say. And given, where we're heading, to be prepared for a lot of change, and not have, a source of energy that is relatively zero carbon on a new facility.
all right, so here's the existing town hall. Here's the new high school. Here's what will be left. Well, this is not accurate. There'll be a bump out at the back. The ball field's been eliminated. There'll be a bump out of the back of the 1920 building, and this is the 900 wing, which will be the new Board of Ed central office, and I think they're located here. So this will be like shared park. There's obviously a parking lot for town hall, but there's overflow parking here. This is also student parking in the Board of Ed parking office. So it's whoever has electric vehicle will park there and they can charge. It won't be free, if I remember correctly. And I can tell you in my experience, when it's free, it gets abused. I used to work for the town of Plainville. They had a free charger, and the car dealership would drive down and charge their electric vehicle
Oh.
instead of
Huh.
instead of residents of the town being able to charge there. They'd sit there for several hours a day to charge their electric vehicle, so that the people test driving. So. But this way, it'll be centrally located between the high school, the 900, and the new town hall, the library as well. You can park here and then walk right down. And then for football games, parents or whoever can park there and then walk right up to the football field to attend the football game.
And how many were you thinking of putting there?
I think they're looking at 4, which will be 8 charging ports. But that'll be what it's set up for. It's not what's going to be installed right away.
Well, that's
Because
great.
there's 10 or between $10,000 and $20,000 each, the chargers. So
Thank you for answering my questions.
no problem, Bruce.
okay. Is there anything else we want to talk about before we adjourn?
So one question just out of the clear blue. We had the program with Simple Recycling to recycle clothing, and that got eliminated. Is there any movement for someone else to move into that space?
I'm working on it. There's another company that services Connecticut and Massachusetts. It's not curbside. And I've been trying to reach out to the company and haven't gotten a response back yet. I'm about due to check in on them. I know someone had reached out to the Public Works Department, and they let them know that Simple Recycling ceased operation in December, and that we're trying to find something in order to continue a textile recycling program. It most likely will not be curbside anymore, whatever it is. We're either trying to establish a temporary setup to coincide with Household Hazardous Waste Day, or something else, but nothing currently and nothing in the immediate future, unfortunately. But I am working on it. It just sometimes it's hard to get a response from some of these companies.
Thank you.
Garrett, I have a quick question. I don't know if
Yeah.
you guys talked about this before, but I know I know that Bristol has yard waste barrels. Have we ever looked into that? And if not, is it because of the dump?
I think it's I don't know the exact reason. I know you can bring yard waste to Tungus Mead during certain times, if I remember correctly. I don't remember off the top of my head. But I know, I think it's some of the denser towns have that, mainly because they generally have smaller lot sizes, so there's not as much area to get rid of yard waste. So West Hartford West Hartford and Bristol have yard bins. But obviously Farmington doesn't, but also Farmington generally has a much lower population density and larger lot sizes on average. So that could be the reason that we just haven't looked into it. But I know you can bring brush to Tungus Mead. I don't know the times exactly off the top of my head.
Wednesdays from 8 to 12, I believe. And then in the summers, they do Saturdays at the same time.
Yeah, there you go. Thanks, Brady.
I spend a lot of time at the dump.
All right. Does somebody want to make a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Thank you, everybody.
All right,
and-
thank you, everyone.
Thanks, Amy.
you.
Thanks, Garrett.
Thank you.
Thanks so much. Bye-bye.
Good night.